Eugene Bareman, he's the mastermind at City Kickboxing. But who are the other coaches you work closely with there?
Yeah, so we have a variety of different coaches. Eugene obviously is our head coach. He's coming from a kickboxing background, as well as having a grappling mentality. So he glues it all together. He's the one that watches all the fight footage. He's what we call a mad scientist, just because he's so particular in what he'll break down and game plan for you. It's not, it's never a generic game plan. It's very to the T, and that's what gives us the edge going into fights, just having him in our corner. But we have other coaches that, play a part in this. We have Doug Viney, who was an Olympic kickboxer, a lot of experience in kickboxing, or K1. I work a lot with him. I like his style. He's got a different teaching method to Eugene. Eugene's more like methodical, a lot more setups. Eugene and Doug is a lot more being the aggressor, being the power puncher or the power kicker, and kind of making them make mistakes by applying pressure to them. And very classic kickboxing style, which I like. I like to with his style. I feel like it's if you're athletic, it works well because you can explode into punching and kicking rather than using angles and timing. So yeah, having those two coaches to kind of bounce off definitely gives you the best of both worlds. And then we have our wrestling coach Andre, who was a Commonwealth wrestler for New Zealand. So he is unique because he's fought MMA before. He's not just the stock standard wrestler that's teaching you classic Greek-Roman style or freestyle wrestling. He knows what works and what doesn't. So he picks apart little transitions and scrambles that work in wrestling, but applies them to for an MMA situation. So you'll be like, don't drop your head there. You can get kneed here, but you can you'll be safe here. And it's nice to have someone that knows what you're doing instead of applying what he's been taught in a different sport to apply it for MMA. So it's nice to have him on board as well because he's a bantamweight fighter, so good size for me to work with. And then for jiu-jitsu, we do Eugene kind of takes ring of that. He will show us just kind of not new techniques, but techniques that you bypass all the stuff that doesn't work in MMA. So for a person getting ready for a fight, that's kind of what you want. You don't want to be taught like stuff that's irrelevant to what you're doing. Yeah, and then my conditioning coach that helps me, peak my strength and overall fitness is his name's Sun Singh. He's an elite kind of athlete coach, so he doesn't just work with fighters. He works with top level football players, like soccer players, top level rugby players, athletics, netball. So he knows what it takes to be an elite athlete, not just puts you in a bubble to what you're doing, but he'll make it sport specific. So he'll train with you. He'll make you train with sprinters or soccer players that are quite agile, just so they push you more in those aspects where you're, I guess, weaker in, or where you can be pushed past your boundaries, which is cool. I like that kind of environment where you switch up the scenery. We're not in our gym. We're not in those four walls where it can get a bit repetitive sometimes. We go to another gym, new faces, new people to kind of compete against, and that pushes you to reach your full potential in what we're actually doing. And it's just a coincidence that a lot of them I actually went to high school with. So the high school I went to is kind of quite known for sporting athletes. So it was just a small world. I caught up with a few high school mates that they would never have picked me being a fighter because I was so small back in high school. I was the smallest in my class, and they're just kind of taken back that I actually do it for a living now. So it was cool to catch up with them. And then on top of that, that's most of our coaches that I work with personally. We have other guys that take charge, but at our gym, the main thing we do well is we always show up for each other. So even though we, like I said, we had holidays and days that we usually would take off, guys are always turning up, just trying to get better and there to help lend a hand and lend their body for the guys that do have fights coming up. So it's a great place to be. We've actually got a good problem. We've got to move gyms, and our gym's way too small. So that means people are interested in getting started, not just fighters, but they want to get involved in the sport. And we've got a new spot. I don't think it's confirmed yet, but it's like 3 times bigger. So it'll be nice to move there because sparring is getting a bit cramped these days. It's like it's like sparring in a fridge. It's that tight. You get elbow. I've got a bruise right here actually from Izzy elbowing me in the bicep where I wasn't even sparring him. I was sparring someone else, but that it just shows that how close we are sparring to each other.
Yeah, man, that's a good problem to have. Is that you guys got so many people in your gym now where it's a factory of killers. Like everybody says it now. Everybody knows City Kickboxing around the world.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, having people just wandering in from overseas that they hear about us, and they want to get a taste of what we do at the gym. So we have like a few other fighters that just came in. Janae, the Aussie Bellator fighter, she's training with us right now. We've got a few other Aussies that came over just recently, getting ready for their fights. So it's cool to get recognised for the system we've got going here that's actually working. People want to see what it's all about, but they know there's no secret to it. It's just hard work, and it's just dedicating everything to it. It's a lot to do with sacrificing little things, but in the long run it all pays off, because when you step into the bright lights and make that walk into the octagon, you don't want to have any self-doubt of I could have done this, I should have trained harder, I should have drilled more. We minimize that by training all year round.